You see her, don't you? A whisper amidst the rustle of silk, a glint of gold in her eyes. Once they held a peasant's simple wonder. Now they burn with a singular, ravenous hunger. She sees the throne not as a seat but as a mountain peak, and her ascent is swift, dizzying. The very air of this palace, this golden cage, hums with the promise of power, the intoxicating pull of a dynasty she yearns to claim. She believes the future is hers, a tapestry woven with shimmering triumph. A girl, yes, but already a force. Watch her now as she catches her own reflection in the opulent mirror, seeing not herself but the nascent shadow of a queen. Then the relentless rhythm slows. The intoxicating rush gives way to a dreadful, profound quiet. We find her alone, in a chamber heavy with the ghost of forgotten perfumes. Her fingers, still trembling from the day's dazzling display, close around a small wooden bird, carved roughly, a relic from a life already distant, already alien. It is a child's toy, simple, innocent. She holds it for a long moment, a ghost of a memory flickering across her face, before dropping it onto the cold marble floor. It clatters, a small final sound of utter severance. Nearby, a rose, plucked hours ago. Its velvet petals now begin to curl, wilting, its vibrant life seeping away like sand through an hourglass. And there they begin, the tears. But do not mistake them for sorrow for the past she has just discarded. No, these are far colder, far more profound. A dawning, terrifying understanding of the unspoken pact she has just made. The bloodline demands more than loyalty, it demands annihilation. The girl, with her simple dreams and her wooden bird, must die. She must be erased, utterly, for the queen to be born. This is the initial, brutal price of entering this gilded game, the chilling realization of the betrayals she will endure and inflict. The poison she might administer, the silence she must learn to wield. The silence in this room, draped like heavy velvet, is her accomplice, sealing this dark sacrament. Listen closely, for nobody was supposed to hear this. This quiet surrender, this first terrifying acceptance of her inevitable transformation. The air, once merely thick with perfume and expectation, now hums with a colder current. Do you feel it? A tremor, subtle as a whisper carried on a distant breeze, yet potent enough to rattle the very foundations of this gilded cage. The game, my friends, has just begun. And here, within these walls of exquisite marble and shimmering mosaic, it is played not with swords, but with glances. With the precise placement of a cushion, with the measured intake of a breath, look closely. See how the eyes dart quick as swallows, catching every flicker of emotion, every unintended gesture. A slight tightening of the jaw as a rival passes. A smile, too sweet, too slow, lingering on a lady's lips as she offers a compliment that tastes faintly of ash. Every exchange is a coded message, every movement a calculated gambit. Alliances shift like desert sands, reformed and broken in the space of a heartbeat, contingent upon the Sultan's wandering eye, upon the whisper of a favoured eunuch, upon the barrenness or burgeoning of a womb. Here, a woman's true friend is a secret, and her most dangerous enemy, often the face she sees reflected in her own gilded mirror. These chambers, where every surface gleams with gold leaf and precious stones, are not sanctuaries. No, they are a labyrinth. Each silken curtain, each intricately carved screen, a potential hiding place for an eager ear, a watchful eye, a hand prepared to act. This opulent beauty is not a comfort. It is a shroud, suffocating in its richness. Observe the weight of it, the way the light catches the threads of a tapestry depicting ancient victories. Victories that feel so far removed from the silent battles fought daily beneath its shadow. See that young concubine, her face a mask of serene beauty. She just dropped a handkerchief of the finest Bursa silk. A mere accident, one might think. Yet the woman who knelt to retrieve it paused, her fingers brushing the delicate fabric before meeting the other's gaze. No words exchanged, no overt sign, but the message passed between them was clearer than any decree etched in stone. A warning, perhaps, a summons. Or, most chillingly, an unspoken threat, wrapped in the innocent softness of silk. This is how the bloodline is protected, how the dynasty endures, through a language spoken only in shadows, understood only by those whose survival depends upon its perfect translation. You ask why they cried. They cried for the innocence stripped away, for the friendships that turned to ash at the first scent of favor, the first hint of betrayal. They wept for the constant vigilance, for the knowledge that every smile offered could hide a dagger, every sweetmeat a hint of poison. Imagine living thus, every waking moment a performance, every breath drawn under scrutiny. The relentless pressure to bear sons, to secure position, to navigate a sea of rivals who would see you drowned in a silver basin rather than share a sip of the Sultan's attention. The greatest weapon in this gilded prison? Silence. It is a shield against probing questions, a cloak for hidden intentions. It allows one to observe, to plot, to survive, but it is also a shroud, isolating the soul, burying true feelings deep beneath layers of impenetrable calm. It is the silence of one who knows the price of a single misspoken word, the cost of an unguarded tear. And it is the silence that echoes long after the Sultan turns his back, leaving a Sultana to count the heartbeats in the vast empty space of her own survival. This then is the daily price. The insidious, relentless erosion of self, paid for in the quiet desperation that fills these magnificent, yet ultimately confining walls. The gentle hush of the inner chambers. A delicate deception. Here, in the soft glow of a flickering oil lamp, the Sultana holds her infant son. His tiny hand, no bigger than a rosebud, curls around her finger. A sigh escapes her lips, a sound so pure, so unguarded, it feels like a secret stolen from the harsh world beyond these gilded walls. This is where her power truly lies, you see. Not in the jewels that adorn her, nor in the silks that caress her skin, but in the fragile life cradled against her breast. A bloodline, a future, and with it, a shadow. For every breath this child draws, another in the palace holds theirs. Every beat of his tiny heart resonates through the marble corridors, a drumbeat of destiny for some, a death knell for others. A mother's love, they say, is the strongest force, but in these courts it is also the sharpest blade, cutting both ways. It makes her fierce, yes, a lioness protecting her cub. But it also makes her vulnerable, a target through the very heart she offers to her son. Do you understand the weight of such a gift? Consider the quiet ritual of the afternoon sherbet, a silver tray gleaming under the sunlight that dares to pierce the lattice screens. 3 cups. One for the Grand Vizier, his face a mask of weary ambition. One for the young Aga, whose loyalty is as thin as the finest silk. And the third, for the Sultana herself, presented by a trembling handmaid. She watches, always watches. Every flicker in an eye, every slight tremor in a hand, every word left unsaid. For here, a simple refreshment can become a vessel of betrayal. The Grand Vizier raises his cup, a toast perhaps to the Sultan's health, to the empire's prosperity, or merely a gesture, a distraction. As his lips near the rim, a sudden jolt. Perhaps a foot catches on a loose rug, perhaps a deliberate bump from a passing shadow. The cup tumbles, not his, but the Sultana's. A splash of crimson-red liquid, like spilled blood, staining the pristine white marble floor. A moment of frozen silence. All eyes turn, not to the mess, but to the Sultana. Her gaze, cold as winter ice, sweeps across the faces around her. No one moves. No one dares to breathe. Was it an accident or a test? Was that poison meant for her? Or, far more cruelly, for the future of her dynasty, the very bloodline she now held so fiercely close? The spilled sherbet, a simple cup, yet a testament to the constant, suffocating threat that hangs over every mother in this palace. It is a game played with lives, a chessboard where the pawns are princes, and the queens, with their tears and their love, are both player and ultimate sacrifice. Her tears now. They are not just for the infant she shields from the world's venom. They are for the boys growing into men who will one day face the same chalice. For the sons of rivals whose lives must be extinguished for her own to flourish. For the phantom children, those who never were, those whose potential was crushed beneath the relentless march of succession. A chilling echo, isn't it? The generational price of motherhood in a realm where blood is both the seal of power and the warrant for death. And the crown demands its due, in tears and in lives, always. From behind this pillar I have seen seasons turn and power shift like desert sands. Remember her, radiant, bathed in the Sultan's favor? A woman who believed she had tamed the serpent of the court. How naive, how painfully human. For in this gilded cage, the whispers that once sung her praise now began to hum a different tune. A low, insidious drone, a sound that crawls beneath the heavy velvet drapes and settles like dust upon the finest Persian silk. The air itself grew heavy, thick with unspoken truths. A foreboding chill, not from the winter winds sweeping down from the mountains, but from something far colder, the turning tide of loyalty. She felt it, of course. A queen always feels the shift in the wind first, even before the leaves begin to fall. The way a trusted gaze now flickered, the sudden inconvenient cough that interrupted a crucial sentence. Small things perhaps to an outsider, but to one who navigates these treacherous waters, these were the first ripples of a coming storm. Then came the proof. Not in a poisoned chalice, not in a dagger glinting in the dark, but in something far more intimate, far more cruel. A letter, sealed with her own private mark, now lay on her writing table. The wax, meant to be pristine, showed the faintest hairline fracture, a subtle break along its edge. It was her own hand, she knew, that had sealed it only days before, and now it was open, read. Its secrets, meant for the Sultan's eyes alone, now scattered like seeds of doubt throughout the palace shadows. Her breath caught, a gasp that vanished in the vastness of her private chambers. She looked to her most cherished confidant, the woman who had shared her every joy, every fear since childhood. But the usual warmth in those eyes was gone, replaced by a chilling stillness. A silence descended, heavier than any decree. A silence that spoke volumes, echoing the broken seal, mirroring the fractured trust. This was not a disagreement, this was an amputation. The camera, if it were here, would linger on her hand, not clenched in anger, not trembling from fear of what comes next. No, it was a tremor born of something far more profound. A cold, stark realization that she stood utterly, terrifyingly alone. At the apex of power, where the air is thinnest, there are no allies. Only temporary interests, shifting allegiances, and the ever-present shadow of the bloodline demanding its due. The dynasty, a hungry beast, devoured human connection whole. And then the tears came. Not the grand, dramatic tears of a woman betrayed in a lover's quarrel. These were silent, slow, burning trails down her face. Tears for the profound personal price of trust, of human connection, stripped away by the crown's ruthless demands. She cried for the memory of a time when a friendly face meant just that, when a whispered secret remained sacred. She cried for the ghost of herself before the poison of power had claimed her heart, leaving behind only the chill of betrayal. This, my dear, is why every sultana eventually weeps. For the crown does not merely rest upon a head, it crushes the very soul beneath its weight. Я стоял здесь веками, незримый свидетель взлета и падения шепота, где запах амбиций густ, как ладан. Я видел, как пребывали юные девушки, их глаза сияли опасной надеждой, не подозревая о теневом пути, что их ждал. Я видел, как ковалась кровная линия, кусок за жестоким куском, дебелен, сотканный из шелка и яда. Теперь взгляните на нее. Пожилая султана. Она стоит у арочного окна, огни города внизу, горстка разбросанных бриллиантов на бархате. Ее лицо, некогда холст яростной красоты, теперь карта каждой битвы, каждой пережитой измены. Уже не та девушка, что мечтала о власти, но монумент ее цены. На низком резном столе, омываемая мягким светом угасающей лампы, лежит корона. Это вещь изысканного искусства, тяжелая от веса столетий, инкрустированная камнями, что видели больше слез, чем любой человек мог бы сосчитать. Прекрасная, ужасная ноша. Символ победы, да, но более того, свидетельство бесконечного колодца скорби. Ее взгляд скользит от раскинувшейся империи к этому инертному золотому кругу. Не конкретная потеря вызывает эти последние тихие слезы, не павший принц, не исчезнувшая любовь. Это слезы по женщине, которой она перестала быть, по миру, который никогда не был ее. Жизнь, поглощенная династией, душа, принесенная в жертву на алтарь наследия. Ибо это истинное эхо короны, не так ли? Безудержный, безмолвный плач, что течет по венам каждой королевы, от первой до последней. Тень, которую она отбрасывает, длинна простирается сквозь поколения, связывая их всех невысказанным пактом жертвоприношения. Игра может быть выиграна, трон закреплен, но цена навсегда уплачена в тихой агонии женщин, что носят или просто касаются ее ужасного великолепия. И тишина остается, глубокая и пронзительная, свидетельство вечной печали, вплетенной в саму ткань этой кровной линии.